Why should somebody start a restaurant?
I think I would say don't start.
What is the most important in a restaurant? Menu, chef, or location?
6 months is a very good time for you to figure out whether your restaurant is working or not.
Kudos, you have run Oyster for 6 years and more.
Yeah. Yes.
What is the thing that Google and AI won't tell you about starting a restaurant?
Not really, Actually, in fact, I don't even have a business background. So everyone in my family is into service and job.
So you're the perfect person to speak to about the industry because you started literally from scratch.
Like I would say a place like Oyster has the potential to do up to 1.3 CR a month.
What is the most expensive mistake you have made and how can others avoid that?
So I struggled with this a lot and I asked a lot of people this exact question that you're asking me.
Welcome to another episode of Rocklaz. This is not a podcast, it's a masterclass on how to start and run a restaurant. Joining us today is Devanshi Tripathi, the founder of Go Hospitality and Thrive Consulting, with the renowned Oyster Bar and Kitchen and North Star Cafe in Bangalore and Oyster Service Apartments in Gurgaon. She has gone very deep into all the aspects of what it takes to be a restaurateur. So watch till the end. Comment about your favorite part in the links and share with a friend. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Devanshi, welcome to Rocklaz. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background?
So thank you, Tanmay, for having me over. I think very interesting to, always come and chat about your journey. About myself, I'm originally from Lucknow. I was born and brought up in Lucknow, did all my schooling and everything over there. And then, for higher studies, I traveled, I went to Pune and then I did my MBA from IRMA, etc. So did all of that, very conventional path, did my graduation in economics, MBA, and then started working with different startups, different projects, etc. I think around in 2018 is when I moved to Bangalore. And since then, that's how, I started thinking about starting something of my own, setting up a business. And then, so it's been almost 6 years now that I started, launched my company, started Oyster Bar and Kitchen, then North Star Cafe, and then one more project in Gurgaon, which is like a boutique hotel. So, one thing led to another, and here I am.
What were you doing before restaurants?
So right before I started, I'd come to Bangalore actually because I was working at an academy. So I took up a job at an academy and I shifted to Bangalore. So I was working in different jobs like how regular people do after MBA. So I was working earlier in Bombay with a startup and then I moved to Bangalore for another better job opportunity. So I was working over there, and then when I came to Bangalore, I saw the entire pub culture and all of that, and that's what inspired me. And I thought, why not? Let's experiment. Let's see how it will go. And that's how the idea sort of set in, and that's how I started thinking of doing something in the restaurant space.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from working at an academy to starting your own restaurants,
Yeah.
what inspired you to start?
So I think when I moved to Bangalore and I was coming from Bombay, so I had seen anyway Bombay also there's a lot of culture of going out and all of that. But in Bangalore when I came, I saw it was something very, very unusual and different. Any place you go to, any restaurant, any bar, it was completely full. And especially weekends, there would be long queues, outside all the bars. So I was just blown away with whatever I saw. I was just like, this is, it's something else only. So I think that was the first moment when I started thinking about, doing something in this industry. And then I started researching a little bit and met different restaurant owners and, started talking to people. And I just figured out, whether I can do something in the restaurant space or not. And yeah, I think so. That's how the initial idea was after seeing the pub culture in Bangalore, because like people are just, I feel like just crazy to go out in Bangalore after every office day on a weekday, weekend. People just want to go out and chill. So that's how the idea set in. And then I think, just things fell into place. I met the right people, tried to figure out the business one by one, and then it seemed like it's the right time for me to sort of take that leap, like how everyone always wants to do something on their own, but lots of things come in the way. I also wanted to do something, but I was never very sure that will I ever be able to actually do something of my own. And it was not, there was never this clear idea that what will I actually be doing. And then I think Bangalore, right time, right place, right people, lots of things came together. And I thought, okay, let's take a leap of faith and see.
That's a big leap indeed, huh?
Yeah.
From working in office, like 9 to
Yeah.
5 job, and thinking of starting your own,
Yeah.
leaving that comfort level. And so kudos to you for the entrepreneurship bug.
Yeah. I mean, before that, I was always, I think I was working since 2014. I started working, and then, one job after the other and all of that. And then, like, quitting my job was something, it was a big decision because, I was just like, I mean, whether it'll happen, whether it'll not happen. I had no idea. And I was very young also back then. I was hardly like 28, 29 when I was thinking about this. So, yeah, but yeah, it was, like you said, it was a big leap of faith. Yeah.
Do you have any background in the restaurant business, like from your family?
Not really, Actually, in fact, I don't even have a business background. So everyone in my family is into service and chores. Yeah. So no business background. Even distant family, everyone's like into education, teaching, professors, that kind of background. So no background of business at all.
So everything from scratch,
Yeah.
everything as a new experience.
Yes.
So you're the perfect person to speak to about the industry
Yeah.
because you started literally from scratch.
Yeah.
About every single thing.
Yeah, I mean, I had no one to really reach out to, at least like from my family, because like I said, no background in business and restaurant or something, it's something different only. But then even any other industry, no such background. So yeah, and even my family was very skeptical about this decision. But I was like, okay, let me take the plunge and see how it goes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through the origin story of Oyster and the other cafes that you've started?
So I launched my company by the name of TripGo Hospitality in 2019, and the first brand under it is Oyster Bar and Kitchen, which was launched, in 2019 only. So that was the first brand where we are sitting right now. So I think initially I wanted to start with with something which, like a place that I really wanted to go to, or a place that I would want to go to. So I would always look for, bars that has like good cocktails, because I'm not much of a beer drinker. So I would always like to, try out different cocktails in bars. And obviously Bangalore has a lot of beer culture, brewery and all of that. So it also seemed like something slightly different that we can do. And I'm also a dog lover. I have pets at home. So, taking my pets out and trying to find a place where there are pets, where sorry like which sort of allows pets, it was very difficult. It's always a struggle to sort of like look for such places. And even if you find these places, it's very they'll put you in one corner and they'll say, okay, only this area is pet friendly and the rest of the space is like you're not allowed there. So it almost seems like, oh shit, why did I get my pet, so that's why I was very clear I want to do like a completely pet friendly space, rooftop, because obviously good weather in Bangalore, and a good cocktail menu. So that's how the idea started, like a place that I like to go to, not very loud music, so that you can sit down and have a conversation with your friends and colleagues, etc. So that's how, like I started thinking about Oyster. And yeah, that was my vision, and that's what I put into action. And now, as you see, it's not like a place where you would come to party or anything like that. It's like, come, sit down, have a good meal, have your drinks and food and whatever, chill, get your pets. So we are pet friendly on all days. It's not like only some days, some hours. We don't restrict pets at all.
Oyster.
Yeah.
Tell us about the name and the concept over here.
So, name actually, I did a lot of thinking and, what name. And every name that I was thinking of, it was taken. So, there's some other place by that name. And I just ran out of options and I got like really frustrated. And I knew that, I want to keep a one word name that I was very clear about. Um, but Oyster just came to me randomly. There's no very interesting story behind it or a lot of logic or anything. I was just so frustrated that any name that I was thinking of, it was taken. There's some other restaurant in Delhi or Pune or Bombay by that name. So you can't then, because everything is taken, right? All the social media pages, the website, everything. So I was just like, okay, let me just start with Oyster. It sounds like a slightly neutral name in terms of I can do an oyster bar and kitchen. Maybe I can do an oyster cafe later, oyster service apartment or hotel or whatever. And that's what I did, right? Like then later on, I launched Oyster Villa or which runs like a service apartment in Gurgaon. So basically, that was the idea, a one word neutral name, which I can, sort of like use for different formats. And that's how I sort of fixed on this name. And then there was no other place by this name. So I was very happy. Quickly, let's sort of sealed it. And yeah.
So domain name you got easily with Oyster.
Yeah, very easily. So that's why I was like, okay, now let's just take this and not think about anything else.
Has Oyster got anything to do with seafood?
I mean, a lot of people ask me that, and of course, we serve seafood at Oyster. We have a seafood menu, but I would not say that that's our specialization or that's what we want to focus on, because ultimately we are like a cocktail bar, and that's the focus. And seafood is one part of the menu. We have a variety of seafood available in terms of appetizers, main course, everything. But yeah, that's not the idea why it is Oyster. So yeah.
And it's the greenest. Oyster is the greenest cafe.
Yes.
What do you call it?
The greenest bar in Bangalore. Yeah.
Oyster, the greenest bar
in Bangalore. Yeah. Yeah, because we put in so many plants and, I also love plants and my manager also has like a huge love for plants. So, that's when we got together, we thought that this is something that we definitely want to do, have like lots of plants in the ambience. And, it's just nice. It goes well with the ambience, with the weather, with the whole open air vibe. So, I don't think you will find as many plants in any other place in Bangalore, hence the greenest bar in Bangalore. Yeah.
Let's talk about North Star Cafe.
Yeah.
What's the concept? How did it start?
So North Star Cafe, I started in, I think, 2023. And again, the coffee industry was really booming at that time. Lots of people had started drinking coffee, in India as well. Like earlier, there were very few cafes. I think just like a decade back, there were very few cafes. Coffee was looked at as a very luxury drink. Only few people would have coffee. But I think all of that changed in the last few years. So coffee industry was booming. A lot of people, I think post-pandemic also started working in a hybrid mode and started looking for spaces to work out of and all of that. So, the cafe culture, working from a cafe, all of that's really picked up. So, and I'm a coffee drinker myself. I love coffee. Again, it sort of came from that place that, there should be a nice place where you can go, work, have good coffee, have some fresh food options. Because, of course, we have like a lot of big chains and big brands in Bangalore, which are, which serve great coffee. But personally, again, my struggle has always been whenever I go there to work, the Wi-Fi over there will not be working. It's also such a struggle to find the Wi-Fi. Like you call someone, you ask them, you go to the counter. So, while it's a place where it's an environment for people to work out of, but it's so difficult to even connect to the Wi-Fi. And at the end of the day, then you are using your mobile hotspot only and working, which is, I feel, it doesn't make sense then. And the same food items, just heat and sell method, all of that. If you want to eat something fresh, healthy, those options are not there. And then the same mundane, ambience, brown and gray, very boring, very monotonous. So, so basically, out of all of these personal struggles only, the idea was born that the ambience should be slightly more premium and make you feel a little bit nicer. And, it should not be the same old brown, gray, that kind of vibe. Better food options, a little bit more healthy options, freshly made food rather than just heat and sell packaged food, that sort of stuff. And yeah, of course, a variety of coffee that we serve at North Star. And we have, like, I can say with 100% confidence that we have the fastest Wi-Fi across the city. Like it'll be better than the speed that a lot of people get at home also. And across any cafes, it's a challenge that it's the best Wi-Fi speed, because that was one of my pain points. So I thought that I will make sure my customers don't have to face that. So on every table also you will see like there's a Wi-Fi name and password and everything is there. So it's very seamless. Like you go there, you connect your laptop to the Wi-Fi, you'll get awesome speed. And yeah, you can work and have a coffee and order some food. And so that's how North Star started.
Wi-Fi is really important in cities like
Yeah.
Bangalore.
It is, na? That's what.
So out of both of these, it seems that you have started these from your pain points.
Yeah.
Or something that you couldn't find, so you started it.
Yeah. So I think that's very important also, because if you yourself don't like something, then what's the point? And if you like something and you understand it, then it's easier to sort of bring it to bring your vision to reality. So I mean, of course, I also very strongly believe in the fact that you should not uh, just think that whatever you like, everyone else will also like that. So you should take your product to the customer and take customer feedback and all of that. But somewhere your vision, your what flavor you're bringing to the table, that's also very important. So like you rightly said, some parts of Oyster and North Star both are definitely things that I like, places that I would like to go to. But of course, over the years I have also taken in customer feedback, and sort of tried to uh, change it as on the basis of what customers prefer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why should somebody start a restaurant?
Why should they start a restaurant? I think I would say don't start. But no, I think jokes aside, so actually why I also said that is because, when I was starting my restaurant, and like I said in the beginning, that I reached out to a lot of other restaurant owners and I asked them for help and advice and suggestions, etc. All of them told me to not start the restaurant. Like they were like, don't get into this business. And I was wondering, why are these people saying this? Because they were all running a successful restaurant. Why are they saying this? Anyway, I did not listen to them. I went ahead and started my restaurant. But I mean, to be very honest, it is a very difficult business. It's a very difficult industry to be in. So it should, I mean, if you want to start a restaurant, you should start for the right reasons, not because it seems like there's a lot of money or it's very glamorous. It's a great job to have. Like, you come in, you own a restaurant, sounds very cool, right? But if those are your reasons, then don't start a restaurant. If you're actually passionate about something, passionate about a particular kind of cuisine or food, or, you want to really like, bring your you have like a really special idea that you want to sort of like, take to the customers. I think then, you should do it for the right reasons, and you should be very aware that, what you like, people might or might not like that. So a lot of times I've also seen that a lot of people are very passionate about certain things. Like, in our hometown, we serve this, we serve that, and we have this particular kind of chaat, or we have this particular kind of, whatever, kebab, or this, which is not available in Bangalore. So we want to do something around that. But what works in another city, you never know if it'll work in, Bangalore or some other place. And also to bring in that kind of authenticity is very difficult. So those are, I think, certain very important things to keep in mind. I mean, like any other business, I think you should have the right reasons. You should know that it's a lot of perseverance, grit, a lot of like, you have to be very thick skinned and just keep going on. And so only if you're ready to like go crazy and do a lot of hard work and all of that, only then start a restaurant. This is just like, okay, it'll be fun and cool. Then, it's you're in the wrong business then. Yeah.
Most of the restaurants fail in 6 months, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that stats true?
Yes, it is true, because 6 months is a very good time for you to figure out whether your restaurant is working or not. So that's one. So that's why most people then shut down within the first 6 months, because if it's not working out, it's a clear signal. If it's not worked out for 6 months, unless and until like you do something really revolutionary, it's not going to work in the future as well. Second thing is that a lot of people don't plan for these 6 months. They plan for the initial investment, for the setup cost and everything, but they don't plan for the working capital for these 6 months. So they also run out of cash. So that's why also a lot of restaurants unfortunately close down in the first 6 months, because even if it is growing, let's say the revenue is growing, but they don't have the funds to sort of keep pumping in some money to keep it alive. So that's also one reason why it shuts down. And then third is, I think, like I said, that a lot of people start restaurants for the wrong reasons. So, they will just think, yeah, okay, now I've collected some money. I've worked in, like, people I see, a lot of people reach out to me. They've worked in like very fancy jobs. They've got like enough bank balance, and now they want to start a restaurant or a cafe or something like that. And then it just becomes, they don't focus that much. They think, okay, fine, we'll just get a team together, it'll happen. They work whatever, like they'll have their own biases. So that's also one reason, because I think everyone thinks that they can run a restaurant. Like nobody will go and open, like let's say people will not go into real estate unless and until they have like a really strong background, right? People will not open a hospital unless and until they have some very strong background. But restaurant, cafe, I think everyone thinks that they can open. So what happens is a lot of people also come into the industry to try their hands at it. So yes, while the failure rates are very high, but we should also be mindful of how many people are actually very seriously into it. Right. So that's why I think somewhere the failure rates are also a little, like it looks that it's very high, because so many people just come in, to without thinking too much. It's just like, how after class 12th, if you have science, all the students will go and write IIT JEE, whether they have prepared for it or not, right? So that's why also over there the selection rate is very low, because actually if you see how many people have actually prepared for it, that number is much lesser. So I think that's why also this industry is very infamous for, very high failure rates. Although yes, it is difficult, the failure rates are high, but I think because there are so many people trying their hands at it, so it just, that number just becomes much higher.
What is a single metric that will predict that an outlet lasts for 12 months or more?
I think a single metric, if I have to say, it has to be your repeat customer rate. So how many customers keep coming to you on a regular basis? If it's a bar, then it's slightly lower, like people who come to you, let's say, a couple of times a month. If it's a cafe, it should be much higher. People who come to you like twice or thrice a week. So that could be your, repeat customer retention rate. That's very important, because you can't keep getting new customers again and again, right? So your restaurant cannot survive on that. It has to have a loyal customer base that keeps coming back to it. And I think within the first 3 months or 4 months, you'll be able to see that retention rate. So that's the single most important metric if you have to just study one metric.
What is the most expensive mistake you have made, and how can others avoid that?
So I've made so many mistakes. Expensive, I would say. I think initially when I was starting out, because like I said, no background, nothing, I was just trying my hands at everything. So and obviously initially in the beginning, there were not many people who knew about Oyster, and not many people, it took us some time to sort of stabilize and get customers in. So, in the very beginning, there were many days and weeks where there were very few customers. Certain days there were no customers also. So I tried my hands at a lot of marketing activities, like different channels, pamphlet distribution, get this, company, do some event, do this, do that, engage some marketing, company to do some like, Christmas party. So I went all out, because I did not know what else to do to sort of, get more customers in. So I wasted a lot of money over there, because a lot of those activities or those channels were not very, fruitful for me. So like we did this big event one time where like 600 customers came in on that day, which was some pizza and beer festival and all of that. And then the idea was that at least like, 50 people from those 600 would come back, become our regulars, would come again. But like nobody came after that, because we had like the entire database. So no, not even one person came back, because then we realized that, those people had come only for that day, just for that deal. So, so many, and I paid a bomb to that, company to do that, execute that entire activity for me. And so many such activities, right? So I think, that was one mistake that I did, that I went like all out and just started exploring various marketing channels. I think what people should do is talk to other restaurant owners, because it's not a new business, right? It's a tried and tested format. Just talk to other restaurant owners, ask them what works. And of course, everything, it'll always be slightly different from what works in one place to another. But by and large, there are these 2-3 things that you should do to, market and reach out to new customers. And so that's the best way. Why to like invent the wheel again, right? Like just talk to other restaurant owners, figure out what's worked with them and what's worked for them, and then you can just implement it for your own.
So what has worked out for you?
So I think Zomato works very, very well. So if you are in the restaurant industry, you have to sort of make sure that your Google Zomato ratings and your page and all of that is like very good. All your menus, everything is like all updated. You should run some, depending on the kind of place you are, you can run some discounts. Discounts also work very well, but of course, again, it depends on your, like if you have a very niche offering, then you don't really have to work, do a lot of discounting. But like making sure that the rating reviews are very good, because every person, even till today, if I'm in a new city and I'm looking for a restaurant to go to, I will open Google or Zomato and then check which place is, what are people saying about that place, what is the rating. Even if someone has suggested a place to me and I see that the Google rating is not good, then I'll be a little skeptical. I might not go there also. So Google rating, Zomato rating and reviews are very, very important. Authentic reviews by actual customers that sort of pushes your rating high. That's very important. And that's what I saw. Like as soon as we started getting good ratings and reviews, the business also started going up. It works hand in hand. So I think these two platforms are like, it should be the only mantra of all restaurant owners, that just go crazy with these two platforms. Make sure your ratings and reviews are very good. And then it depends on you whether you want to run some offers, do some promotions, whatever you want to do. But like all your pictures, latest pictures, everything should be updated properly on both these platforms.
How much money does it take to start a restaurant?
So it depends on the kind of format you want to do. You can start a restaurant with even like 5 lakh rupees. You can start a small roadside, kiosk kind of a place with even like 3 to 4 lakhs also. And then if you're doing like a little bit more fancy version of it, QSR, then anywhere between 7 to 10 lakhs. Then if you want to do like a cafe where you have some basic kind of coffee through coffee beans and some food and all that, then anywhere between 50 to 80 lakhs, let's say a 30-40 seater. And then if you are doing a proper bar with liquor and, full liquor menu, then of course it has to be much higher because of the licensing cost and everything. Anywhere between 2 CR to 4 CR. And for a brewery, it's much more, because brewery is like much bigger in size, the entire brewery setup and everything. Minimum 7.5 CR, and then upwards to matlab it can go very high also. But yeah, minimum 7.5 CR.
Okay. Does bank provide funding for hotels?
Yes, of course. I mean, you can take a bank loan, and not just bank now. There are like a lot of VCs also funding in the restaurant space these days. But of course, for the bank, you need to show some kind of either it will be like a collateral loan, or if you've had a business previously, you'll have to show a 3 years P&L to take a loan for your next business or expansion or whatever. So of course, they will have their own requirements. But as such, yes, loans are available.
What is the best source to get funding for starting a restaurant?
So see, that again depends on you, right? Like if you want to do a bank loan, you're very confident that you'll start making profits very soon and you'll be able to pay back the loan with the interest and everything. And you don't want to dilute your share in the restaurant. Or otherwise, if you need like, you want to go the VC route, you want to take funding, you want to give away equity and all of that. So it really depends on the kind of company structure you have and, how you want to take forward your company. What I have seen personally is most people in the restaurant business are still sort of doing it in a bootstrap manner. They generally take money from their friends and family, run the business for a few months, either pay back the loan, whatever they've taken from them or whatever. Like, mostly they'll try to, I've not seen too many people taking a lot of funding, although now, yes, it's becoming very common with, the expansions and franchise model and all of that. Now it's becoming more and more common.
What is the difference between taking a franchisee of an established brand like McDonald's or Burger King or Domino's versus starting your own restaurant?
So, huge difference, right? Because when you're starting your own restaurant, everything you're doing from scratch, everything is your own vision. Also, you can do whatever you want with your brand. You can build it in the manner that you want to. With a franchise, lots of things come into play, right? Like, and it depends from brand to brand also. So some brands are very particular about the kind of staff that they want, so they will provide the staff. Some brands will say that no, staff you can hire and train, we will just provide you the raw materials and equipment and whatever. Or interiors, some brands are very particular about. So it depends on the kind of terms and conditions that you get into. But generally, in a franchise model, you're very restricted because everything is predefined. There is an SOP. They will tell you, okay, the location has to be like whatever, like 2,000 square feet. These are the menu items that you can put. You need this much staff, because everything is predefined. So there's not a lot of room to play in that, right? Like, it's more like just execution. So people who are really good at executing things, people who have, let's say, maybe they have some land of their own or a building of their own or whatever, where they want to bring, and they don't have a lot of experience, don't want to put in that kind of time and hard work and effort, can explore franchise. Of course, not to say that doing that does not require hard work. Of course, that also requires a lot of hard work, but a lot of things will be pre-designed for you. Versus if you're doing your own brand, your own restaurant from scratch, you have to literally start from A, B, C, everything. Like what kind of interiors, the furniture, the color, the menu, everything you have to decide, the logo, the name. So yeah, very different, I think.
What is more profitable? Established brand, QSR brand, or starting your own brand in restaurant?
Franchise model, if you do, then somewhere there is a little bit of a guarantee that you will get that kind, like this X amount of profit, because even the franchise owner will be able to tell you that they'll be able to predict the numbers based on the location and their model and everything. So they'll have an average number and they'll be able to predict. So it'll also have a ceiling, and you'll know that, okay, I will make anywhere between 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs every month. If you're doing your own brand, then it can go either way. Maybe you're running a loss also, because it's a new brand, you have to spend so much money in bringing crowd and all of that. And you can also really do much better, because it's not revenue sharing, you don't have to share your profits with anyone. You can run it the way you want. So it can also go very high, much higher than what you would get in a franchise model. So it depends on what you want, how confident you are of your product, and those kind of things.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly. Well, yeah. High risk, high reward.
So, do you want to give out franchisee for Oyster? Or do you have plans for that?
I've not really thought about that till now, because I think usually people think about that once they have 2-3 units, and then they start thinking about it. So as of now, I've not really thought about it at all. If I want to do an expansion, I want to do it myself only. So I would only want to start setting up and scaling up, etc. Now, after we have 3-4 units, maybe, let's say, I don't know. So that's something that I'm not really given a thought to.
What is the most important in a restaurant? The menu, chef, or location?
Of course, all are important, but one cannot work without the other. But you have to pick one, it'll be the location, because location is irreversible. Menu you can change, chef you can change. Once you've logged in the location, you cannot change that location. And location is very important, because people will come based on the location. So whether you're doing it in a very crowded place where there is high footfall, but there's a lot of competition also. Also, there is, like, the rentals are very premium because it's such a highly crowded area. That will have its own pros and cons, versus if you're doing it in a place where you're the only restaurant, but then it's not very high footfall. Maybe the rentals are also less, but then people will not be going there, because it's like, let's say, if we take an example of Bangalore, in Indiranagar there's so much footfall, people are always walking around and all that. But versus in a place like I don't know, Marathalli, probably, while the competition will not be as high, but then there'll be less footfall also. So it has its pros and cons, but I think location, depending on what your product and vision is, that's the most important. Once that is logged in and that's done correctly, you can always work around the other things.
How do you pick a location? Location with lesser restaurants around, or a location which has a lot of competition but more footfall?
So I struggled with this a lot, and I asked a lot of people this exact question that you're asking me, because I also did not know how to start, right? What to do. So, but I didn't get the answer even till today. Nobody told me, even the other restaurant owners were not able to answer this. And I mean, now I think after experience, I would say that I think it's best to sort of do it in a little bit of an upcoming place, especially if you're a new brand and you're doing it for the first time. If you're an established brand, very premium, you have the budgets, then of course go all out, do it in a very crowded hotspot kind of a location. But if you are a new brand doing business for the first time, then do it in a little bit of an upcoming space. What I mean by that is that a space that is not too crowded, but you know that it will get crowded very soon. And that's how I chose HSR like 6 years back. 6 years back, HSR did not look like this at all, right? In fact, there was nothing on this road. Like Oyster was the last spot, actually. There was nothing ahead. Like all the new brands that we see that have opened up on this road have opened up much later. So a lot of people were shifting to HSR. It was becoming the startup hub. A lot of people were sort of like, looking for houses, or offices were opening up. So when I started out, there was not much over here, but then over the years, now HSR is the hotspot. Yeah, so I think go for an upcoming location where it should not be completely isolated that, nobody's going to come there only. So it should be something where people will come to either for office or for like, staying there because it has a lot of residential areas. And yeah, so that's how you should decide.
So upcoming area,
Yeah.
which would be like a fallout of like Kormangla was the hub for the startups.
Yeah. Well,
Then they started expanding to HSR.
yes.
Now HSR has become the main.
Yeah.
So in that way, safer option to.
Yeah, because at that time the rentals will be slightly lower because it's still upcoming. It's not the hotspot, right? So if you compare the rents between Indiranagar, Koramangala and HSR, huge difference. And but then you still know that okay, crowd is going to come here. Offices are opening up, so great for demand and like getting crowd into your restaurant. So if you're a new brand, go for an upcoming space. If you are an already established brand, go for like the most premium place in the city, like either Indiranagar or MG Road or something like that. And that's what we see, right? Like if there's a big brand that comes into the city, it'll always open in like the most premium areas.
What are the current rents in different areas in Bangalore?
So you mean like for commercial spaces?
Commercial spaces. For a restaurant, what will be the rents in different areas in Bangalore?
So it's like I can tell you about HSR. HSR also increased over the years a lot. Earlier it was much lesser, but it really varies also from which floor you're in. So ground floor will be much higher as compared to like a top floor because obviously again.
Example, numbers.
So it's like anywhere between let's say 150 rupees per square feet to going up to like 250 rupees per square feet for a ground floor property. And the difference is because again, whether you are close to the signal, whether you're a corner property, which road, like whether you're on 27th Main or you're on like 14th Main, it'll make a difference. So it varies like that. And then if you are like on the floors higher above,
Yes, of course.
slightly less.
Of course, but for this is how many seater restaurant? Oyster is how many?
250 seater.
So for a 250 seat restaurant, what would be the average price in HSR?
So again, see, it doesn't work like that, right? Like it depends whether it's on the ground floor or on the top floor or which floor it is. So that's what I was saying.
Okay, on the ground floor, how much will?
Yeah, so like 150 to 250 rupees per square feet.
So total it comes to what?
So you can do the math like into like 4,000 square feet. So I think 250 would be roughly 4 or maybe like 5,000 square feet you can do.
So for a 250 seater restaurant, you need 4,000 square feet.
Yeah, minimum. I think a little bit more than that. 4,000 is very crammed up actually. You should do 5,000. 5,000 into 200, you can take the average. That's for the ground floor.
So that comes to 10 lakh rupees.
That's for the ground floor, I'm saying. But
10 lakh rupees a month for ground floor. For third floor would be?
Much lesser than that. You can like maybe reduce it by half.
5 lakhs is high. How much space, how much area do you need for a 100 seater restaurant?
Around minimum 3,500 at least, because then you also need to take into consideration your back in area. Yeah, kitchen and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, just for comparison, let's stick to 250 seater restaurant. HSR ground floor will cost 10 lakhs per month. How much would it cost in
3 years back is when I was scouting for some locations in Indiranagar, and at that time, the rent for just even like the top floor was around again like a probably 4,500 square feet space was around 7 lakhs at that time. So for a ground floor, it would be much more than that, and then this is I'm telling you 3 years back. So it's safe to assume like anywhere between 12 to 15 lakhs easily. Roughly, like if it's 10 lakhs over here, easily 12 to 15
15
lakhs.
lakhs,
Over there. Again, depends on like 80 feet road, 12th main road, all of that. It varies.
Just a rough idea.
Yeah.
And in Marathalli or some place which is more cheaper than this. Is JP Nagar cheaper than HSR?
I don't think so. I think it'll be very similar. Although I've not really checked the rentals over there, but I think it'll be very similar because JP Nagar is also like a hub for residential and commercial both. So yeah, I think the rates will be good over there.
I have a friend from Germany who wants to start a German themed restaurant.
Okay.
His main question is how do I find space for the restaurant?
Okay.
He has tried to search it online from this 99 acre and all this. But what are the other ways? He's not getting a
I
good.
think in Bangalore, you'll have to go through brokers. That works best. So brokers means like offline, like talk to people, not like all these online things. Just talk to brokers, tell them that you want to, start a commercial space. And then you have to reach out to like multiple brokers. One broker will not help you. So over here, like you have to follow up with the brokers also a lot. So that's what I experienced. You have to follow up a lot with them. So out of 10 brokers that you reach out to, then probably 3 will show you a few places. It's like that.
That was his main complaint. People don't respond. We are calling and they don't respond.
I can completely understand. Yeah, people will not respond. I don't know what they are doing, but they will not respond.
How do you find these brokers?
I think you can just Google it, ask around. Like the brokers have like a lot of their own network. So once you reach out to one broker, they will also connect you to brokers of some other areas. I think you can get a lot of information through Google, Just Dial, and all of that. You'll be able to get. And I mean, ask around localites. They will give you numbers. So like once you get 2-3 brokers, then they will connect you to more and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the location we have finalized.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we are starting a restaurant.
Okay.
What is the next step after location?
I think once you finalize the location, then you need to quickly do your interiors and start your license work on the side, because interior work will take minimum 2 to 3 months. And the license work also takes around 3 to 4 months. So start both simultaneously so that, by the time, as soon as possible, you can start, your restaurant, because your rent starts very quickly. So by the time, your rent, some landlords do give like a rent-free period, but it really depends on the kind of negotiation you've done. So by the time your rent starts, you are almost ready and good to go, and you don't have to pay the rent from your pocket, and you can start your restaurant. So yeah, start your interior, start your licensing, get everything together, start hiring maybe 1 month before your launch, because hiring also takes time, and put your team together, start the training. Yeah, good to go.
For 10 lakh rupees a month rent, how much deposit you need to pay to the landlord?
So in Bangalore, it is anywhere between 6 to 10 months for a commercial space. Again, depends on your landlord and what kind of negotiations you can do. But yeah, 6 to 10 months of security deposit.
Licensing, I guess that's a big issue. Can you walk us through the checklist and licensing for the restaurant business?
So see, if you're doing anything which is without liquor, if it's a QSR or a cafe or a normal restaurant without liquor, it is not as tough. As soon as liquor comes into picture, it becomes very tricky and very tough, and the cost also goes high. There's a very famous, if you've heard of Riaz Amlani, the owner of Impresario and Social and Smokehouse Deli, all these brands. So he has this, he very often cracks this joke that, you need many more licenses to sell a sandwich as compared to opening an arms and ammunition factory. So those are the kind of licenses you require, because you need police NOC, you need fire NOC, you need like a trade license, shops and establishment license, labor license. Like there's just, the list is endless. And the problem is that there's no one place that will tell you, okay, these are all the licenses. So even till today, it's so funny, even till today, I get to know one more license is pending. It's like that, because there is no one stop solution, or one, like you Google it and you get the list, or one agent or one consultant accountant will tell you. Nobody will give you like the full list. But like I said, that it's much easier if the liquor is not involved. So I think some top licenses are trade license, FSSI license, which is your food license, shops and establishment license, depending on how many staff you have, a labor license. So those are the first few licenses that you need to get in place. A GST registration, that's also very important. And you are able to get all of these within like 1 to 2 months. Now, as soon as a liquor license comes into picture, then it's very complicated then, because liquor licenses are limited in Bangalore. Um, the government has stopped issuing new liquor licenses in Karnataka. And because of that, there are only these limited liquor licenses that we have in the city or in the state rather. And that only keeps sort of like, shuffling around. Like one bar will shut down, it will go to another. Then that will shut down, it will go to another.
Oh,
Yeah. So
transfer of the license.
yes. So that's what happens. So basically, you have to get this license from private players. That's what it means. It's not
Like
from
in a secondary market for licenses.
yeah, it's like that. It works very similar to real estate. Like there is a security deposit, and then there is a monthly rental on liquor license. And I mean, if you find out a person who has a license, because then there are so many people who are also doing fake licenses and all of that. So you have to be very sure. Then you have to get it attached to your address because it has to be on that address. And that also takes some time to get all the shifting of the license done, and finalizing all of that. And then for a bar also, all your other licenses are linked to the liquor license. So your trade license will then come into play after the liquor license is ready. So that can, I mean, there's no time limit for that, because you never know how much time it will take you to find that person and all of that. So but keep anywhere between 3 to 4 months minimum for all the licensing if you are running a bar.
You go through agents for license or consultants or maybe yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there are some agents and consultants who would do that. Not consultants, actually, consultants don't really get into that because it's very difficult, very, very local, specific, So a lot of consultants who are from outside Bangalore will not even know about it. So it has to be someone who's from Bangalore, who knows people and all of that. Mostly through agents, because even license owners don't like to talk directly to multiple people, because there are so many people who want to start a bar, but who is actually serious, who will actually invest. So they also can't talk to like 20 people. So they also prefer to talk to an agent who will get them like a interested party. And then so there are local agents who are available who will help out in this.
Licenses is one of the things that Google and AI won't tell you.
Of course, yeah.
What else is the thing that Google and AI won't tell you about starting a restaurant?
I think so many things, right? Like, for example, if like you can't predict demand once you've started your restaurant, you don't know, like today, suddenly 200 people can turn up and maybe the power goes out. And then what do I do? Like, these kind of things, like you need to be really on the job and present to know how to tackle the situation. One day, suddenly after the salary day, 20 of your staff will not turn up. So suddenly what do you do? It's the weekend and, you're not prepared for those kind of things. And like, no, Google and AI will sort of give you those suggestions or tell you that these are the things that can come up. So very real life on ground challenges that you might have to face, and then you have to tackle it as you go.
Deciding the theme and menu for the restaurant.
Yeah.
How do you go about deciding the theme and menu?
It depends on your vision. If you are very specific about any particular kind of, cuisine, like you want to do like a Japanese restaurant. So it's very clear that, okay, you'll have a Japanese cuisine and that's how, you do your menu. But if you want to do like a multi-cuisine restaurant, or so it really depends. Like, for example, we have like a cocktail bar, so we have like everything right from bar bites to pizzas and main course and all of that. So completely depends on what your product is, what your vision is, what format it is, what kind of audience it is catering to. So you start out with a menu. Generally, that's the process. You start out with whatever your vision is, take it to the customers, see what's working, what's not working, tweak it a little bit after 3 to 4 months. Certain items that are not selling at all, there's no point of having it on the menu. So you can just get rid of those. maybe there is a certain kind of demand for some items. So like, for example, when I started out Oyster, I did not have a lot of main course dishes. Because I thought that when people drink, they like to have like lots of starters with it, and maybe, of course, there were a few main course items, but not too much. But then I realized that customers are asking for a lot of main course dishes. They want to have like a proper lunch or a dinner post drinking. So then I expanded that part of the menu. So take it to the customers, take their feedback, keep evolving your menu. And that's how you do the menu work.
So menu is an evolving thing. You keep testing it out.
Most of the times, yes, because you can't have the same old menu, for years and years. You need to keep bringing in something new while keeping certain familiar items always there, right? So it has to be a combination. Like if I really like certain dishes in a restaurant, I go there after 2 months and I see that all those dishes are gone. It'll drive me away. So it has to be a combination of familiarity with something new, like seasonal dishes, seasonal coffees or cocktails. All of those kind of things you should keep adding that while keeping certain, crowd favorites always a part of your menu. So most of the times, yes, it is an evolving process, unless and until it's a very niche kind of restaurant that, I have a ramen restaurant, let's say, so I'm serving only these 10 kinds of ramen. So that's very different then.
What drives the customer to keep coming back? Is it the menu, predictability, or the ambience, or what it is? If I go to McDonald's, I know I'm going to get these 5 burgers.
Familiarity, yeah.
But if I'm coming to a place like this, I would rather come for a date or some experience or checking out a new place.
So
What has been your experience?
yeah, so I think again, like if it depends on the format, right? So if it's a cafe, people like to go, once they like a cafe, they would want to go to the same cafe again and again. Then they don't want to keep experimenting. People like that familiarity, that comfort. A lot of people also have a favorite seat in the cafe that they will always go there and sit there only, in that seat only. And people also go to cafes more often. But with bars and restaurants, you want to constantly keep trying out new ones, right? Because it's not like today, if I'm going to one bar, then tomorrow also I'll go to the same one, day after also. No, I want to try something new. There are so many options also. Customers are spoilt for choice, these days. So they want to keep trying out new cuisines, new restaurants. So it depends on the format. People, I think, come back again, like, for example, for a place like Oyster Bar and Kitchen, which is more of a neighborhood bar. I think people like to come here after their office day or like on a weekend brunch or something like that. So maybe they'll come twice a month or, once a month, and then, they'll keep coming back after a few weeks, that, okay, let's go and have the weekend brunch over there, or let's, after office, let's meet all our colleagues in the Oyster. But obviously, if it's like a fine dine kind of a format, you go there only like once in a while to celebrate some, special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, etc. So it really depends on the restaurant format also.
What is more likely to become like a adda, that our group just goes there every week or frequently?
I think it has to be like, combination of pocket friendly, because if you're going somewhere very regularly, you can't have it be very expensive, right? You don't want to be spending a lot of money. So it has to be pocket friendly, very easy and easy going vibe. Like, I don't want to constantly go to a place where I have to like put in a lot of effort to dress up and, be very mindful about what shoes I'm wearing and what clothes I'm wearing. It should be something very easy going that, right, even after office or on a Sunday when I feel like lounging, I don't feel like dressing up too much, I can just get up from my home and like walk into the restaurant. So something which is like feels like everyday neighborhood vibe, not too heavy on your pocket. That kind of a space, I think that kind of format is more likely to become the adda.
How do you decide the pricing on the menu?
First you have to see your positioning. So are you a very premium kind of a space, or you are like a neighborhood space? So you have to see that. And then number two, you have to see your product. So you can't be selling some very fancy kind of food like caviar or burrata and all of that and have like 100 rupees prices. You can't do that. So it depends on the cost also, right? Like, and what kind of food you're serving. So and number three, it has to like all your ambience, your menu dishes, your the target audience that you have, the pricing, all of those have to go hand in hand, because you can't have like a very desi regular kind of ambience and have very high prices on the menu. People will not like it, and vice versa is also not true. Is also true that you have like a very fancy ambience and then the prices are like really cheap. I mean, yes, customers will appreciate it, but then if customers are going to a place for like such a fancy ambience, probably the price will not really matter to them then that much. So then you are losing out on that revenue. So it has to go hand in hand. So if you have a premium ambience, then prices also should be like that a little bit. And then it also has to be a combination of certain hero SKUs, like certain products that work really well for you, so they can have a little bit higher pricing, then certain items can have a little bit lower pricing, lower margins. So it has to be a combination so that the customers also don't feel that your place is very expensive. And if you're trying to go for like a medium or an average priced kind of a format.
So Oyster, you would consider Oyster as average, high,
Average,
medium?
definitely average. So I try to keep it pocket friendly, but then, with a lot of competition that's come up and all of that. So certain things are definitely a little bit on the expensive side, like customers might feel, again, because of the kind of ingredients we've brought in, fresh fruit, cocktails, all of that. Certain items are a little bit on the expensive side, but by and large, it's a very pocket friendly place.
What gives you the most profit? Coffee, snacks, main course, or drinks?
So, like all the beverages, like cocktails and coffee and beer, those are generally always your high margin items. Food, generally always the margins are, lower because higher cost, right? So the kind of margin you would make on coffee will be much higher as compared to a snack item or a food item. Yeah.
So in percentage term,
Yeah.
if you earn 100 rupees, how much will be coming out of coffee from the beverages, how much from the main course, and how much from the other things?
So coffee, coffee or let's say all the beverages, easily anywhere between like 60 to 70% margin, that much, depending on your pricing and all of that. So whether coffee, whether cocktails or, the others.
So out of your 100% revenue, 60% comes only
No, I'm
from...
not talking about the revenue, I'm talking about the margins. So you mean, what's the margin?
If you earn 100 rupees from the restaurant,
Okay.
how much is coming from cocktails and beverages, how much from the main course, and how much from other things?
Okay, got it. So for a bar, I think almost 60 to 65% would come from drinks like cocktails and hard drinks, beer, etc. So specifically for Oyster, the topmost is beer, followed by cocktails, followed by other hard drinks in terms of share, and then the remaining is your food, like 65%, and is from all the liquor. And very similar in a coffee shop also, in a cafe also, most of the revenue share, like the larger chunk will come from coffee. So about, let's say, like almost 60 to 65% will be from coffee and remaining from food.
35% from food.
Yeah.
What are the other categories? Drinks, the main course, and starters. Do you categorize them separately, or is just like...
No, so we generally do just like beverages and food. Yeah, because there's no point of categorizing separately. Yeah.
So we have decided location, we have got the licenses, we have made the menu, we have the theme ready.
Yes.
What next?
Hiring. Hiring is like very important. Then according to your concept, menu, all of that, you need to start hiring the right kind of team, both kitchen and service.
What comes first, the menu that you decide, or the chef?
See, if you are someone who has knowledge about cooking and you're very passionate about cooking and you yourself have domain knowledge, you can do the menu and then hire the chef later. But for example, for a person like me, like I did not have any background, I'm not into cooking myself. So for me, it was very important to bring in a chef first and then have the chef design the menu, because, that's something that I can't do myself. So again, it depends if a lot of restaurant owners themselves also, they are like the main chef in their kitchen. They are very involved in their kitchen processes because food is their passion, or, whatever, if they're in a cafe, coffee is their passion, or, they are bartenders themselves. So it depends on your domain expertise also.
About starting a unique concept of a restaurant. Suppose like German restaurant chalu karna hai, ya sushi hai. sushi and this Japanese and Korean are still words that we speak about, but I've never heard of a German restaurant.
Yes.
So how do we see that if it will work here or no? How do you test it out? Do you like have to go through all the process of starting restaurant and doing all licensing and then figuring it out in 6 months, or is there a way to quickly test if it works or no beforehand?
So there are a few agencies that do that for you. They do some kind of market feedback studies and testing and all of that. But ultimately, I think you have to take your product to the customers and see. There's no other better way. And maybe I understand your question that do you need to invest that kind of money and only then figure out. So maybe try out with your friends and family. Be very wary that you are asking them the right questions, because otherwise they will just say, yeah, it's nice. Because see, it's also very different when someone has to pay for it versus someone is not paying for it. So a lot of friends and family will just say, yeah, it's very nice, it's very good, I really like it. But then how many times will they actually come to the place, pay for it, and buy something? So ultimately you have to really take your product to the customer and see what happens with it, take feedback and tweak accordingly. But yes, you can get some kind of insights from all these marketing agencies, and there are these agencies that do survey and give you do a little bit of market study and tell you what will work and which location it will work in. So a lot of times also certain concepts are very area specific. So for example, something that will work in, let's say, in Bandra in Mumbai might not work in HSR in Bangalore, right? So
How much would this surveys cost?
I think they are a little expensive. I have never done one myself, but from whatever I hear, I think they are a little on the expensive side. I don't know, I mean, I can't give you a number, but
2, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, rough range. Because they have to plan for that budget now if they want to do this.
yeah, I mean, because I've never really checked for it, so I'm not
So if
sure.
you're not direct without it, you can try it without.
Sure. Yeah. That, but then you have to be open to feedback and change. So, like when I was starting out Oyster, my vision was very different. I wanted to do like a big cocktail menu with very limited food options, which is what I did also. But then customer feedback was like, no, we want everything. We want khichdi also. We want, curd rice also. We want biryani also. And then that's what I did. I gave the customer what they wanted. And now it's like people come in and have pizzas also, dal khichdi also, beer also, cocktail also. So, we have a variety of crowd coming in and they love the large menu that we have.
Yeah, pizza is really good. Yeah, I tried
Oh, how nice. Yeah.
last year in the
Okay.
Founders Club.
Yeah,
I gave.
okay.
Chef. How do you recruit chefs and then the sous chefs and the team? How do you recruit the team?
Generally, it's a good idea to bring in like a head chef, the more senior chef in the kitchen, and then most of the times they have their own teams that they will bring in. So as a restaurant founder, you have to worry only about like a few senior positions, like your manager, your head chef, maybe a senior service staff, and they take care of the remaining hiring for you. Then they will get their own teams.
How do you find those chefs? Is there a website or how do you find the chefs?
If you have a consultant, you can go through the consultant. Otherwise, same regular hiring options, like you put up a post on LinkedIn, float a JD in your network, there are restaurant owner groups, you float it over there. So just reach out to as many people as possible in your network, put up job posts about it. And there are hospitality colleges, you can reach out to those colleges and, see if you want to hire from them. So yeah, regular hiring process.
How long does it take for a break even in a restaurant?
I think 3 months is a good number. Generally, you should have like that in mind, that it will take minimum 3 months. If it happens before that for you, then you're very lucky and you're headed in the right direction. If it happens a little bit later, then between 3 to 6 months is, when it should happen. If it is not happening even until the 6th month, then it's a big red light. Like, that means that something is wrong, something is not working out. And because, till when will you keep pumping in money into a dying restaurant, right? So between 3 to 6 months is like the ideal time where it should break even. If it's not breaking even, that means something is wrong.
Couple of my friends started a restaurant. I mean, he just invested 6-7 crores restaurant.
Okay.
It stopped working in 6 months.
Oh my God.
What matters? They overly invest in the ambience and the interiors.
Yeah.
How important is interiors in a restaurant, and where can you save money, and where should you put more money initially?
Interiors are important. I would not say they're not important because, because of the kind of competition that we have these days. So, to stand out in a place where it's a very crowded market, there's so much work, like so many options. Customers are spoiled for choices. So, that's why you need to stand out. You need to give a pleasant interiors to your customers. But I think in Bangalore, you can really leverage on the nice weather that we have. So, doing open outdoor spaces. So you can really save on the interior cost because, good weather and open skies, that just sort of almost, it adds a lot to your atmosphere and vibe. Um, Having said that, it's not necessary to spend a lot on interiors. There are lots of ways and means to figure out how you can do it in a cost effective manner, negotiate your rates with the vendors, try to go for things which are easy to maintain and clean in the long run. A lot of times I see that people spend a lot of money in doing fancy interiors and then the maintenance is very difficult and then it becomes very rundown and it doesn't look good. The furniture or the paint or whatever. So it should be something which is long lasting, easy to clean, easy to maintain, not very heavy on the pocket in terms of the maintenance that happens every now and then. So, yeah, I mean, and then again, see whether, what is more important for your space. Like if your space requires that kind of fancy interiors or you think you can do in a mix and match of like little bit of fancy, little bit of normal, a mix and match, like maybe have like really fancy lighting but a very normal regular flooring, so you can save somewhere, spend somewhere else. Maybe you can have one wall which is really fancy, a nice wallpaper, but every other wall is very regularly painted and it's a normal one. So depending on what you want to do, you can decide.
I have selected a location.
Okay.
Given the advance payment for deposit for the rent. How much would it cost for a 4,000 square feet restaurant in interiors?
So for interiors, generally an average would be anywhere like for getting flooring, electricity, plumbing, everything done, uh, around rupees 18 to 25 per square feet, to do the every this thing. So roughly, again, depends on what's more, whether you want a very fancy outlet, whether you want something which is very basic. But I think anywhere like for a 4,000 square feet, if I have to give you a number, and let's not talk about something very fancy because then there's no upper limit, but at least, 50 lakhs is easily
50 lakhs.
Easy.
50.
Yeah. Because see, the furniture for 4,000 square feet space, the painting, the electricity, you have to do a lot of electrical work, plumbing, drainage and all of that. So minimum utna to lag jata hai.
Kitchen things also included, machines, everything.
No, I'm including the kitchen, interiors in terms of the flooring and the, the power point or the gas line and all of that.
Machines
but I'm not,
and everything.
machines and all I'm not including in this. That is separate.
तो खर्चा कितना आएगा? Suppose रेस्टोरेंट मुझे चालू करना है, including the kitchen, interiors of the sitting place, machineries. How much would it cost?
रेस्टोरेंट मतलब थोड़ा आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि बार है, रेस्टोरेंट है, कितना बड़ा है, क्या है, वो बताना पड़ेगा क्या.
Okay, give us two examples. One without bar and one with a bar.
So with a bar, I'll start with, if it's a 4,000 square feet space with a bar, minimum 2.5 CR. Without a bar, again 4,000 square feet. You can do it in between 1 to 1.5 CR.
And for a cafe, for like North Star, how big is North Star? How many square feet?
2,200 square feet.
Half of it.
Yeah.
How much would it cost for a cafe, coffee and like a
50 lakhs to 80 lakhs. You can finish it off in that time.
Okay.
Yeah. Including everything.
And running cost. I'm trying to ask the question like a balance sheet. So these are the investment, now these are the running costs. What are your monthly expenses and can you break down your expenses?
So rent, salaries, the raw material will depend on the sales, but you have to maintain some kind of inventory, so something will always go into the raw materials. Those are the main heads, and then of course maintenance, miscellaneous, certain expenditure heads will always come every month. Some kind of, so rental, I meant like property rental, then there'll be a license rental also separately. And your, yeah, like vendor and raw material cost.
How much is the license rental? The license rental is just for the liquor
For
or
the
for
liquor.
the food also? No.
No. There's no rental involved over there, only for the liquor license.
Oh, कितना आता है? How much is that approx?
So the security deposit for that would be anywhere between 30 lakhs to 60, 70 lakhs. Again, it's a very highly negotiable kind of a thing, depends on the landlord and all of that, what kind of license it is. उसमें भी अलग-अलग type के licenses होते हैं. So if it's a bar license, it's a CL9 license, which will be 50 to 60 lakhs of security deposit, which is completely refundable. But it's a security deposit that you have to give. If it's a CL7 license, which is for a hotel, like if you have a hotel and you want to serve liquor over there.
Like rooms, CL7 is
Yeah. And then CL2 is for like an MRP outlet. So those costs are very different. For CL9, it's around 30 to 80 lakhs or 70 lakhs, like I said, as the refundable security deposit. And then monthly rental anywhere between like 2.8 lakhs. Like right now, the rate is anywhere between 2.8 lakhs to 3.8 lakhs per month, which you need to keep paying every month. And it's, like I said, it works like real estate. So the rent will keep increasing annually. And the security deposit was like an interest-free refundable security deposit, which you can.
How much does it cost for the chefs and the team in salaries monthly?
Very difficult to give a number like that now, because it depends how many people you have. So like a housekeeping guy will start from a 15,000 rupees per month, and for the head chef it goes up to like 60, 70,000, 80,000. Some very fancy places also have head chefs who take like around a lakh a month also, depending on their experience and all of that. So now you can do the math. You can, so how many people, like if you have 10 housekeeping staff, 10 whatever CDPs, and then 2 sous chefs, 1 head chef, depends on how big the space.
So for Oyster, how big is your team?
80.
80. उनका कितना आता है? How much is the expense for them?
You want to know the salaries that I pay?
Total?
Roughly around at least 14, 15 lakhs it goes in salaries, minimum. So 80 also, like the staff keeps थोड़ा कभी 70 हो जाता है, कभी 90 हो जाता है, क्योंकि we keep hiring, then the staff keeps going away. So anywhere between 14 to 16 lakhs is what we pay in salaries every month.
So it's very important to keep the chef.
Yeah, of course. That is very important. Yeah, because that's like the head of the team, right? So the chef will keep everything together.
Cost of the raw materials.
So that depends on your sale. So roughly about 30 to 35% of your sale. So अगर आपकी ज़्यादा सेल हो रही है तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा होएगा, कम हो रही है. 30 to 35 is a good sweet spot, and it's the ideal that should be there. If it's anything more than that, then you really need to look into like, your negotiation and rates and all of that. Because more than that, then it'll not work out. It becomes a little stretched. It'll creep into your margins then.
How much sales should one expect at a 250-seater restaurant?
You can expect, upper limit is like maximum you can do a lot. Like, for example, there is a cafe that I know in Bombay, which is which does like almost 1 crore sale a month, even upwards of 1 crore, and it does not even have liquor, and they are less than 250. They would be like 150 seater or something like that. So again, like upper ceiling is like way high. Like I would say a place like Oyster has the potential to do up to 1.2, 1.3 CR a month. That's the potential. But then how much you can actually do, so like that's the upper ceiling. More than that is slightly tricky. That I don't think it can do more than that, depending, because of the various factors. But yeah, and minimum is of course to break even, you need to do at least, like to cover all your costs, you need to do at least 50 to 55 lakhs a month.
How much do you think Rameshwaram cafe makes?
Very difficult to say. I mean, I've heard about all the numbers that they keep talking about. No, I don't know. I mean, I've heard about a 4 CR number and all of that. But I mean, with the kind of crowd that I've seen over there, I think, yeah, they would be doing definitely maybe around 80 lakhs to 1 crore a month, I think, with the kind of volumes.
That's it. I thought it would be more.
I mean, I know that they say that it's much more, and like I said, I've heard that 4 CR number, but maybe that was just a 1 month figure or something. Maybe one month they started and that was the number. I don't think with the kind of prices they have that they would be doing more than that, because the prices are also very low, right? So
Prices are low, and because it's a very small place, you see a lot of crowd.
yeah, so volume is high. So I think they must be making around 80 lakhs to 1 CR, depending on the location, on, the month and all of that. But I don't think more than that. Anything more than that is like a little bit of a stretch. And maybe I'm not saying their numbers were false, but then those numbers were never reported or confirmed by the founders. They were just numbers in the market. So we don't know if that's true or not.
Every city has this iconic restaurant. Like in Pune, we had this Vaishali.
Yeah.
And in, I don't know which one is in Bangalore, but they go on for 10 years, 15
Legendary
years, and
ones.
legendary. People keep coming back for their memories, and there's always waiting there.
Yeah.
What is their secret?
In Bangalore, we have Empire and MTR and all of these. So it's the equivalent of Vaishali over here. Secret of such restaurant. I mean, if I knew, I would also do something like that. Then I don't know. Very honestly, I have heard. I've seen a podcast of the Empire's restaurant's founder, but. I mean, it's a lot of things together, right? Like right place, right timing, getting taking like taking advantage of the time that you open in. So Empire opened, back in the day when there were not too many options. Then they also were able to sort of get that night crowd because they are open till very late at night. So those kind of things. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things that come together. And then over the years, if you are able to sustainably and consistently do it, then that's when, because no restaurant will become legendary in like the first 5, 6 years, right? You have to be around for 10, 15, 20 years to be that relevant and to be considered legendary. So to be able to do something so consistently, I think that's the key, that what you were in year one, you are the same in year 20, or better also maybe.
So, what is your vision? Do you want to create legendary restaurants or try out different restaurants?
As of now, I think I want to expand. I want to open multiple units of North Star Cafe and Oyster Bar and Kitchen within Bangalore and outside in different cities. So that's the vision right now. But I also want to take it slow. I don't want to go crazy with expansion, not like, open 10 outlets. So also because, I'm bootstrapped. So I want to do like, one unit at a time, make it profitable, and then go on to the next one. So that's the idea. So maybe in the next 3-4 years, we'll see hopefully 4-5 more outlets. Maybe a couple in Bangalore, a few outside Bangalore. So yeah, that's the plan right now.
I saw this amazing movie. It was about McDonald's and how, I forgot the found name, I'll just put it in the
Okay.
cut. So in that, he showed how precise they are. 5 drops of sauce means 5 drops of sauce. And you have to cook it for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, you cannot cook it more than. That's how they are able to achieve that speed and turnover time. Have you tried to implement those SOPs like McDonald's in?
Yeah, of course. I think SOPs are very important, and without that, it'll very difficult to have consistency and all of that. But it cannot be something that McDonald's or a chain like that is doing, because they have central kitchens. It's a more monitored environment. It's very difficult to implement it in environment like Oyster. But yes, of course, we try to have SOPs and try to follow the recipes, and especially proportions, because I think if the proportions are predefined, anyone who's coming and making it, it will be very similar. Right? So we don't need the same person to come and keep making it again and again. So we try to do it as much as possible, but it can never reach that level of what like a chain like McDonald's or KFC or Burger King would be doing.
Why not?
But like I said, that they have more controlled environments. They have a central kitchen. Their raw materials are procured from a specific place, and so there's a lot of consistency at every level. So we can't, at one unit cannot command that kind of consistency. Sometimes we have to change our vendors because of the rates will go high, or certain things are not available. There's a lot of staff churn also. So these big chains also have a lot of budgets for corporate teams, back-end teams that build these SOPs, do these regular trainings. So we can't do all of that. I mean, they also have staff attrition and all of that, but then they will keep doing refresher training courses, new recipes, and recipe training and all that. But we can't do that. So for us, it's more manual. It is more on the go. So hence we can't achieve. It's like a difference between a small company that's trying to grow and versus an MNC, right? So whatever the operations and the structures that an MNC will have, a small startup cannot have those, right? So in a small
Eventually, you can have.
eventually, yes, of course. But in a small startup, it's like the founder is doing the hiring also, the finance also, the marketing also. It's like that. So same thing, we have to if one day the Indian chef is not there, the Chinese chef has to cook Indian also. It's like that.
Sourcing of raw material in a restaurant. How do you pick vendors? How do you maintain the quality of the food that is coming in? How do you choose?
So I think you have to try out a few vendors initially and see, what kind of quality you're getting. And then also consistently. So a lot of vendors, what they do is that initially they will give you good quality for the first few months. And then suddenly they'll bring the quality down. So you have to keep monitoring it very regularly. There are certain checks and balances in place. For example, whenever you're procuring meat, you need to ensure that it is brought to your restaurant in a properly packaged condition. It should not be open, and it should not be sometimes vendors travel a lot, here and there, and they're coming from very far away, and in the heat, if they're bringing it, then it's likely to go bad. So those kind of things, if it's packaged properly, if it is brought with ice and all of that, if the charcoal that you're procuring that is wet or has water, or all of that. So small checks and balances for different kinds of items, and you need to consistently keep monitoring it very closely, because otherwise, if the quality goes down, then it will impact your final dish. So that's the only way to sort of ensure consistency.
What are the compliances, bureaucracy, inspection involved in a restaurant?
Lots, right? That's the biggest pain point for in running a restaurant, because so many new rules also keep coming up. And just like the government will just give out a new rule and suddenly then you have to abide by it. So I mean, we would not do hookah over here, but then I think a few years back there was a rule, suddenly hookah was banned. So all these hookah parlors, they had to go out of business suddenly. So lots of compliances, and things keep coming up, certain things you are not even aware of, and then one day one officer will come and say that this you have to do, that you have to do, you're not doing this right. Lots of such things keep coming up, so you just have to figure out a way of working around those, and you have to constantly be updated of what's happening, stay in touch with your peers so that you know how to deal with some of those things.
So there's no website. You can just expect a person to
Yeah.
inspect.
No. So there's no, that's what I said, that nobody, you can Google how to open a restaurant, and what you get over there is very different from the reality. Nobody will really tell you what are the actual steps to open a restaurant.
One advice you would give a founder who wants to start a new restaurant?
Be very sure of why you want to start a restaurant, and don't go overboard in investing too much in the beginning. Try to test the product a little bit, and see, take customer feedback, and I mean, otherwise just enjoy, and enjoy the process. And yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's very fulfilling when, if your business works and you see, crowd coming in and people appreciating you. It's definitely a very fulfilling business.
Okay. Rapid fire. One license you would never leave to chance.
CL9, the liquor license.
One SOP you wish your cafe had is.
The milk to steaming and heating ratio, proper predefined, what temperature and all of that, because a lot of baristas make mistakes in that, and the final coffee goes wrong because of that.
One policy change that would unlock growth.
I think a one-stop solution or a one-stop window for all the licenses. So, instead of going to different departments for different approvals and so many licenses, if we have one department that helps you in giving all the licenses and tells you what the licenses are. You can get all your approvals in one place. I think that will really support the industry.
One vendor quality test that you swear by.
I think just constantly checking the weight and the rate of the items, because a lot of vendors just keep changing it randomly. You will not even get to know. Suddenly they will increase their rates, and after 4 months you will see that, oh my God, my costs have gone high. So every bill, checking month on month the rate and the weight of the raw materials that you procure.
One line item that founders under budget.
So can I give you two? Like, one is working capital, because I think founders, like especially for the first 3-4 months, they don't take that into account. That's very important. And second is under the table costs. That adds to a huge cost, and a lot of founders, because in your balance sheet where to sort of put it, na? So that's very important.
How much would that be?
There's no limit to it. It depends on your luck. There's no limit. Yeah.
You don't want to say it on the podcast.
No, there's nothing like that. I mean, it can be, again, it depends on what kind of restaurant you're opening. It can be anywhere between like 10 lakhs to, 50, 60 lakhs.
Is it more for liquors?
Of course, yeah. Yes.
60 lakhs.
Yeah. I mean, again, depends on lots of factors. Not like you're giving that amount to one person. Different departments at different stages, multiple approvals. So, किसी को 5 lakhs, किसी को 10 lakhs, किसी को 2 lakhs, ऐसे करके, like that.
And is it like a monthly thing also you have to keep giving?
Yes, you have to. Especially if you're doing a bar, then you have to. In other smaller formats, not so much.
One mistake you'll never repeat.
I think I spoke about it in the beginning that, like investing too much in like multiple marketing channels and, losing out that money and doing various kinds of events and all of that.
One metric to watch daily.
In average order value, like your average customer spend, basically, that's an important metric.
How much should it be?
Oh, I can't give you a number. That's very difficult to say. It depends. Again, it depends on what kind of sales you're targeting, what's your format, like that. So, yeah.
How do you say it was a healthy day? Bin acha tha ve. How do you say?
If you've done total sales on a weekend of 4 lakhs plus, it's a very good day. On a weekday, 1.5 lakhs plus, it's a very good day. In a cafe, if you've done, 50, 60,000 plus on a day, it's a decent day. 1 lakh plus, it's a great day. It's like that.
Another point. Days also differ in restaurant, right? On what days do you have the most and the most least sales?
So obviously weekends are packed, then weekends will have higher sales, right? Because maximum number of people step out on weekends. So Friday evening is the highest, followed by Saturday evening. So Friday evening, Saturday evening keeps switching. Those are the top two periods where it's the maximum sales. Friday evening, Saturday evening, followed by Sunday evening. And followed by then Friday lunch, Saturday lunch, Sunday lunch, and then the weekdays. So weekends first and then followed by weekdays.
Which is the busiest on the weekday?
Saturday evening, I think. It's the busiest.
And which is the least?
I think Monday lunch is the least, yeah. Because after the weekend, nobody, people have already stepped out, done their thing. So Monday lunch is like the most lean period most of the times.
One Bangalore quirk that you love?
I think like customers are too focused over here on like, trying out new things. So like anything, like I see so many like boba cocktails has come up and some Korean cuisine has come up. Anything and everything is opening up and people are going to like all kinds of places and trying. So very, very open to experimentation.
And that's the thing that happens, no? This was one of the reasons that Starbucks didn't work in tier 3, tier 4 cities because in the first 6 months they got a lot of crowd.
Yeah.
Just for the trying it out how it is and then they don't come repeat.
Yeah, that's there. Yeah, just for like the novelty factor, people will go and then.
How do you survive that novelty factor?
You have to stay relevant, yeah. You have to. That's why I said that like repeat customer rate is very important. So initially, if people are coming just because you're new and all of that, that's fine. But then you have to give them something for them to come back, and it has to be a place that is like, sustainable in the long run. So some kind of familiarity, some kind of stuff that they like and they want to keep coming back to. So for example, at Oyster, we've built a very loyal pet parents community because, this bar is pet friendly. You can come in with your pet any day, weekends, weekdays, anytime. So we have a lot of customers who started coming to us like 6 years back and are still coming to us. So you have to build some kind of community, loyal customers that keep coming back to you.
One thing that keeps you relevant.
I think constantly introducing new things in the menu, which are as per the trend, whatever, is going on. Uh, and while keeping a good balance with things that, your customers like. So not taking away from the soul of the place, but also giving a new flavor to your customers every now and then.
One movie that you would recommend hospitality startup founders.
So there's a TV series by the name of The Bear on Hotstar. I think very interesting to watch. It's about like a chef who's thrown into all the chaos of running a kitchen. So it gives you a lot of idea and, real perspective of what happens behind the scenes.
One book that you'd recommend.
Book I've very recently read. It's called Raise the Bar by John Taffer. A very good book on like actionables that you need to do to sort of revive your restaurant and things to improve.
How can you help startup founders who want to start a restaurant?
So I've recently launched an initiative by the name of Thrive Consulting, which is about consulting, people who are first-time founders who want to start their own restaurant. So we'll help them from idea to execution. Because anyway, a lot of people reach out to me to sort of discuss how to start a restaurant or a cafe or a bar and what are the challenges. So I thought, why not like sort of make it little bit more structured so that they can reach out, like, they can reach out to me via Thrice Consulting. And then there are like different modules which will help them. Some people want help only with the menu. Some people want help with hiring. Some people want end-to-end support. So I think it'll be definitely very interesting until the time I'm not expanding and opening up something new. That's my way of keeping things exciting and, working with new projects and new people who need help like from idea to execution. So we'll help them at every stage since I have a lot of experience on the ground with different kinds of restaurant formats. So the idea is to like, help people understand what it takes to like really start a new restaurant or a bar or a cafe and then, put their sort of bring their vision to life.
What is the difference between a consultant who has a restaurant like you and those consultants in the market who don't own a restaurant?
I think there's a lot of difference, right? Because someone who's not done the job on the ground, they will give you very different kind of advice, and they'll have, not to say that all consultants are bad, but I have personally had good and bad experiences. But like someone who has done the job on the ground, has experience, will give you a lot of contextual advice, right? So it will be much more realistic. So what I've seen is a lot of consultants are very focused on, your interiors, your menu, hiring and all of that. Yes, those are important parts. But then there are so many other things also, right? Most of the consultants will not talk about licensing. Most of the consultants will not talk about vendor negotiations, rates, those kind of things. So those become very important. How to negotiate with the vendors, what to do if the machinery breaks down, what can you do if you're facing some delays in licensing. So those are more real things that first time founders especially need assistance with. So I think that's the difference that comes into play when there is someone who's experienced on the ground, who's tackled these things already, comes into the picture.
Behind the scenes, there are a lot of reels on Instagram about low quality ingredients.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, just reheating old things.
Yeah.
What is your vision about the back end and how to keep things fresh? Or do you just make things and prepare?
So what we do is like all the perishable items and things that we can procure, which can go bad. We don't purchase in bulk and we store. We don't do that. We try to maintain a very lean inventory. It's good for costing also, and it keeps all your raw materials fresh. So like dairy, vegetables, meat products, all of these things we procure almost on a daily basis or like every other day. depending on the demand. So that, it's fresh. We are not storing like meat for like it's frozen for a month and then we are taking it out and heating it and making it, because there will be a difference in taste. So I think the ideal way to do it is, if you can afford it, you should, procure on a daily basis, and in smaller quantities, and then, make everything fresh from the kitchen and serve.
Bangalore only founders tip.
Hmm.
What makes Bangalore unique to operate in?
I think you meet a lot of like-minded people. So, becomes easy. Like, a lot of people will understand when you're running a business, you're doing a startup. There's so many people who are trying, who are in a similar space. So very easy to explain to people. People understand lots of challenges that you're facing. So I think that's a little unique if I compare it to other cities. In terms of customer preference, also, I feel like, customers are also more open to trying out new things and going to new places, just stepping out. There are so many immigrants in Bangalore. So, everyone wants to sort of step out of their house and experience new things. So it's quite unique that way.
You're planning to expand in Pune and Goa as well. What are your plans in Pune and Goa?
So I think Pune and Goa both have very booming F&B, scene right now. Pune has a large student crowd, and over the last few years, it's really, whatever is happening over there in terms of food, I think it's very innovative, very unique kind of places are coming up. Hence, I want to do something in Pune and then Goa again, because I feel post-pandemic, the F&B scene in Goa has changed quite a lot, and it's not as seasonal as it used to be back in the day. So, now there is crowd throughout the year, and people in Goa also want to now sort of like, experiment with new formats. Earlier, there were these typical only shack places and, all of that. But now there are so many new restaurants, so many brands, so many new, brands have opened up in Goa. So I think after Bangalore, if I want to look for something which is slightly similar to Bangalore, yet it has some new flavors that I can offer, and, the people will sort of appreciate a brand like Oyster and North Star Cafe, I think Pune and Goa would be the next obvious choices.
How does it differ between Bangalore and Pune and Goa? What are the key differences between starting a restaurant in different cities?
I think lots of things are very different, right? Because I think restaurants very area specific. Like even within Bangalore, if you're opening something in HSR versus Whitefield versus Marathali, it'll be very different. So I think in Bangalore, customers are looking out for like, discounts and offers and deals. So that's very big over here. Of course, you can do like an open air space over here. You can't think of doing that in Gurgaon or Delhi because the weather will not allow that. I think if you are opening something in Bangalore, it can be a little bit more like over here, we don't have any security people, that's not really required. But in, I think, Gurgaon and Delhi, you'll need some kind of bouncers and security. And like, for example, at Oyster, I've never really restricted stag entry. We don't have to even think about those kind of things. But I think most clubs and bars in Gurgaon and Delhi do not allow stag entry, those kind of things. So a lot more focus towards security, bar fights and all of that, much more common over there. Um, Also, I think people over there appreciate fancier ambience and, very, very good quality food, because Delhi is famous for their food, right? So people do not compromise on the food quality at all. While I feel in Bangalore, it's like if you have good ambience, you give them a good variety of beer and cocktails, people are okay. Like, they are not that finicky about the food quality. Pune, I think again, like, you have to be a little price sensitive because large student crowd over there. So you can't be very expensive, and, it has to cater to the young. If you want to cater to the young crowd, you have to have like some kind of offers and deals and stuff like that. Has to be something which resonates with the young crowd. Goa, I think you should be a little mindful of the seasonality over there. While it has gone down over the years, but it's still not like, you will still experience it much more than other cities.
What's with the stag entry in bars? It's like 2000 rupees for male and free for female.
I mean, see, I don't do it, so I have never done it because I also feel it's very, it's discriminatory in some sense, and, it's not nice. But then there's no other way for people to sort of filter out, crowd, and then what can they do to avoid any kind of bar fights, etc. So I think that's their go-to way to sort of restrict entry of certain people and make sure that there are no security issues, etc.
Is it because there are more boys and male that come compared to females, or to invite more of females, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's to attract more females and have less number of single men in the crowd, so that, I mean, it's assumed that the more the number of single men, the more issues there will be and fights and all of that. So that's why, because there's no restriction on men coming in. It's just that if a man is coming in, has to be with a woman, because then it's just assumed that they will behave better. So yeah, that's why couple entry is allowed, but stag entry is not.
One opening ritual that your team follows.
We have like a to-do checklist kind of a thing for every department, which changes from day to day. So everyone has to sort of update that first thing in the morning as soon as they come.
If a young woman in Bangalore wants to start a restaurant, what is your unfiltered advice?
I would say just go for it. Don't think about anything. Don't think of the people who are telling you can't do it. It's very difficult. Just go for it. If I have done it, I'm sure you can too.
What future projects or new concepts are you most excited about right now?
So there are a couple in mind. These are completely in the idea stage. There is there's a platform that I want to launch, which will sort of be like a peer-to-peer learning platform. So restaurant owners learning from the journeys and experiences of other restaurant owners. So a community for restaurant owners. So we don't have anything like that right now. Of course, there are certain communities and groups, but then those are there's not a lot of exchange of learning and ideas. So I think we can really be helpful to one another. So you're a platform where all the restaurant owners come together and help each other from their based on their previous experiences and learning. That's something that's there in the pipeline. Thrive Consulting, that I've already spoken about, which is already launched now, and we've also helped a few restaurants already. So I that's something that I'm very excited about, because like I said, that gives me a chance to work on new projects. So even when I'm not expanding right now, and that will happen like after a few months, I can still I get the experience of working on new projects with new brands. I get to learn from other founders, so that's very exciting. I think these couple of things are the sort of next activities that will keep me busy.
Kudos, you have run Oyster for 6 years and more.
Yeah. Yes.
So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
What kept the drive alive for 6 years?
I think if that's what, like, if you want to do a restaurant, you have to have the drive. It's very important. It has to be the same from day one till today. Otherwise it's very difficult, because there are so many challenges to bog you down that if you don't have that kind of drive, then it's impossible. So I think it's just there. I was very sure that I want to do this, and it's as cliche as it sounds, but it's sort of like your baby, and then you'll do anything to sort of make it work and make it successful. So it's like that.
One biggest challenge in running a restaurant.
That has to be a separate podcast, Chief. So many challenges are there. There's so many challenges.
Top, like this is.
I think corruption, very big challenge. Yeah. That hinders a lot of things, actually. Then staff attrition is a problem. Then I think, those are like the top two, I think.
Do you have a budget for marketing, or was it there initially and now just people pull other people?
It's an ad hoc budget. I don't have a monthly budget, because once you have established brand name, then you don't really have to constantly keep doing marketing activities every month. Once in a while, we assign some budget for marketing, to get more new customers, but we don't do it on a consistent basis every month.
You said that was your biggest mistake in spending too much on the marketing. What would be the most efficient way to market for a new restaurant?
Like I said, get your Google listing right, get your Zomato listing right, get lots of good reviews and ratings organically and authentic ones, because these platforms are very smart to identify, the fake ones. So there's no point of doing that. So over the years, slowly and steadily, like try to get like as many ratings and reviews possible. Because if someone opens a restaurant page and sees, 20,000 reviews and 4.6 star rating, it's really, helpful, I think. And versus if it's 3.9 or 4 star and 156 reviews, you will be very skeptical about going to that place. So I think getting your ambience photos and videos and, all your menu and everything up to date on both these platforms with proper rating and reviews, that's like the first step. That's very, very important. And then, of course, once people come in, then through word of mouth, and I think offline also, like your board and your front facade and all of that should be like very good, so that it's very like, people can see where you are located. And even if, they don't know about you, it'll be there in their mind, maybe not today, but 2 days later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they will want to come and try out. They will tell their friends, oh, I saw this place on that road. So your board and front facade of the building should be like very clearly visible from the road. So offline in terms of that, and online, I think Google and Zomato.
One tool that you recommend for running a restaurant?
So we use a couple, like we use Pet Puja for our all the billing and, POS and all of that. And Slack for all the internal communications and, tracking all the updates, daily to-do lists and everything. So I think those two are sufficient.
What are some common mistakes you see aspiring restaurateurs in Bangalore make again and again?
Huh. I think going too like fancy on day one, investing too much in the interiors and ambience and all of that without knowing for sure what kind of crowd they're going to be able to pull in and all of, so like bleeding a lot of money right in the beginning, and not keeping enough working capital for the first 3-4 months. A lot of people think that, okay, from the day one only we'll start making profits. That's not how it works. And I think, yeah, and not focusing a lot on customer feedback and reviews. That's also important. Yeah.
Okay. Can you dive deeper into the last point?
Like, if your customers are constantly telling you that, we don't like this kind of, particular kind of pizza, or, we want like more variety in your burger menu or whatever it is. So you should consider that feedback, because that becomes very important. If you don't take that feedback into action, then, you will lose out on your customers very soon, right? So small points also that your customers share with you. Of course, you can't do everything, but out of 100 points that you get, try to implement at least 30-40 that you feel are important for you to survive in the long run. And yeah, and like, whoever likes your place, asking them to give you a positive review and rating, so that other people can read and their experiences and then come.
Can you tell about your service apartment concept in Gurgaon?
Yeah, so it's a small boutique hotel, about 15 rooms in Gurgaon, very closely located to like all these hospitals over there, Medanta and Paras Hospital, etc. So a lot of people come for long-term treatments, because, these hospitals are the biggest hospitals in the country, and then they want an accommodation for a month, 2 months, etc. So, we get a lot of guests from medical tourism. It's also like I said, it's a service apartment. So, people traveling for work, pilots, different kind of like, companies, startups. So they come, they book our hotel for like their employees. So it's just like a boutique hotel where you can come in, get like a good, comfortable experience. It's not as expensive as a 5 star, while offering you a comfortable space, neat and clean, hygienic space. In fact, the rooms and all are much more spacious and, as compared to like a 5 star hotel also. Neat and clean, again, pet friendly as well. So, yeah, so it's like, works like a boutique hotel, no frills. So there's no swimming pool or anything of that sort, but it's, like a 24/7 kitchen. So everything that you need over there, like, laundry services, a small cafe, all of that is over there. So anything that you need for utility purposes, all that you will get. No frills attached, basic hygiene, all of that is followed. So, yeah, that's the concept.
Thank you so much for being a guest. You have shared valuable insight, and we have gone into very deep and details about what it takes to start and run a restaurant.
Yes.
Any concluding words or thoughts that you want to add, or something that you have missed out? Please share.
I think it was definitely a very detailed podcast. I think nobody's really asked me so many questions till now, and that I also sort of got to live through all my past experiences now, because I've talked about everything from day one. So very interesting experience, and yeah, like I said, that if anyone who's listening to this podcast would want to reach out to me, they want to start their own restaurant or anything, I'm always happy to help. And thank you so much for having me.
The seating arrangement and the menu is quite good here. I'm a huge fan. I come here almost every third or fourth day between work just to get a coffee. The ice latte is really good here, and my favorite is grilled chicken steak. I have it almost all the time. The steak is pretty good, and I've tried their pastas, I've tried their salads, the grilled cheese toast. Everything's almost really well priced, affordable, and it's really nice to eat. The service has been excellent all the time, and yeah, that's been my experience here.
We are with the chef of Oyster Bar and Kitchen. What's your name? And
Yeah, my name is Sheikh Gayasuddin. I'm the chef here. So I like that place, and I'm making nice food here for snacks or everything and main course. And we are talking to guests. Guests are very happy here to come and enjoy, to take the foods and everything here.
what do you love most about Oyster Bar and Kitchen?
So because Oyster Bar and Kitchen, it is a very fantastic place, and it is an open air place. It is the Bangalore's greenest bar, and I like here to walk, and I'm very happy to talk with the guest, and they are also so they are also is very happy to come and enjoying the foods and drinks here.
What is one dish that every customer must try in Oyster?
So every customer try oyster here. Our buffet has a lot of items. So mostly customer are coming for the buffets. That's a buffet has lot of options for the food. That's why they are coming to love and enjoying the foods.
Pizza or Chinese?
No, pizza is the awesome, and Chinese also. Everything is good, but pizza is awesome. Pizza was very good here, and Chinese also is. Chinese snacks is very good. Very nice here.
What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish is farmhouse pizza is here, and teriyaki chicken for Chinese.